Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and so today we are having a fun one. We're actually doing this live on Twitch, our banner predictions that we do every single patch for, I don't know, how many has it been already so far? Like 10, since like 1 point something all the way to now when the first rerun came about. And we are going to do similarly predictions for 2.7, but I always like to talk first about what has happened so far, so we know like our track record moving forward, and it does tell us a lot about what is going to move in future too. So number one, first thing, 2.6, we predicted that it's going to be a boot heal and doctor ratio. It did make a lot of sense back then. This was done, don't forget, like 6 weeks ago, immediately after like the live stream. Boot heal did make a lot of sense back then because Rapper was like Galaxy Ranger, Boot heal Galaxy Ranger, he appeared in the story, Doctor Ratio surprisingly also in the story. It would have made a lot of theoretical sense. But again, theoretics doesn't translate well into the future. Apparently, However does have their own decisions. And we did get Akirion right, which was the key selling point. So one thing that we said 6 weeks ago was Akirion is going to carry 2.6 rerun in the second half, since it's very sus why they didn't have like a second half banner. So it turns out they did bring apart this Akirion in the second half. So other than this, 4 stars, not as good as 2.6 key man predictions. Who have expected like Ababil to reappear here, right? And Aventry makes a lot of sense in like hindsight. We'll talk about the new cast and what trends it tells me for 2.7 and beyond in a bit. But more importantly, 4 stars, we got Pella right, Kingyun is still missing, Susang is still missing, Tingxue is still missing. These are like very many patches, 12, 11, 10, and likelihood of them appearing would have been super high. However doesn't want to like fall in line, that they want to drag it out even longer. In this case, we guessed sample right, so out of the 6 of them, we got a 2 out of 6. Abysmal rating, but it's decent so far, I guess. So far, we got the important ones correct. But this tells me, more importantly, they are selling us banners that work decently well together. And that is more important than anything right now. At this point, I think that Hoyovers are applying a strategy where they are selling you characters that do very well together to be on the banner. Look at 2.5, for example. You have Fei Xiao, you have Robin, who pair very nicely together. You have Black Swan, you have Kafka, who pair very nicely together. And then you have break teams like Lingsha, who can be played decently well into most of the other top meta teams as well. You have Topaz and Nami, who plays very nicely in Robin, Fei Xiao teams also. And currently you have like Aventurine, together with Akirion, who play very nicely with each other. So this is a very interesting combo, which means 2.7 and beyond, we will also be having similar team compositions. The question then is, at this point, what is the way forward? What is 2.7 going to be? What is the guess? At this point, 6 weeks before their official live stream for Sunday, and Fugue, that's how I'm supposed to pronounce it, I think. But these 2 characters, who knows, right? At this point, no one knows their characters. The only guess that we can make is actually a video that we recently did on break teams. Out of the 3 meta teams, just a quick recap, Fei Xiao is one of the meta teams, her follow-up teams, Akirion is like another of the meta teams, Akirion teams, and Firefly teams. That video, we talked about more detail, but TLDR, long story short, Firefly teams have the longest way to go. And one of the most important factors based on that is maybe 2.7 could be taking 2 stands. 1, break focus. 2, summoner focus, because there's a new relic, new Lingsha dropped. Depending on your thoughts on where it could go very differently. And how will it be different is 1. If you believe in summoner, a character that haven't rerun in a long time, like Jingyuan, could come back around. Of course, we had a rando appearance by Ababil, supposedly quite random. So who knows, maybe you might have a King Yuan appearing in 2.7. Or if you're of the other view of 2.7 being a break focus 5-star banner, then I think it becomes a little bit clearer on the way forward. What I mean by that, if you look at all of the break characters, we just talk about characters that fulfill the break meta, and you can see just straight away on this screen. Look on 2.2 and 2.3 here in the second half and first half. You have Boot Hill, you have Runmei, you have Firefly. They all appeared roughly around the same time, and Boot Hill and Firefly hasn't had their first rerun yet. So we are waiting for a lot of that aspect. In that sense, probably, I think, we are going to likely see one of them in the 2.7. So my call, I think is more or less correct, and we already discussed it on stream with the guys. If you guys are interested to join us live as well, you can always find us on twitch.tv/EODGamer, where we actually discuss a lot of these stuff. But I think Boot Hill could either come in either half. For now, let's just put him in the center. He's slated for a rerun. If it's Break's time to shine, Boot Hill is due to come back as well. And out of the other new characters in the game, probably it would be Firefly's time to come about. But I feel, honestly, Firefly can carry a patch on her own. Firefly is very similar popularity in terms of like Akirion overall. And if she was in 2. If we don't even know whether 2.8 is the 3.0 or whether there's a 2.8 and then we go into 3.0, is anyone's guess at this point of time. But one important thing to note, if 2.7 currently ends, Fugue's banner actually starts on the 23rd of December. If we are following the same 3 weeks calendar and they don't do some funny business of shifting the things back and forth, but that is Christmas Day and is a very huge celebration worldwide. People are spending money and stuff. This means that your 2.8, the patch after, would be somewhere around 15 Jan in January. This is for 2.8. So 2.8 is roughly around this period. And very importantly, the Lunar New Year is on the 29th of Jan. So these are important dates, which kind of signals to us if they are planning to do a 3.0 patch straight away, you're going to have a huge celebration in China where everyone goes back to their families during the Lunar New Year festivities and stuff like that for the first half of 3.0. Which means that 2.8 could also be a filler Xianzhou Luofu kind of patch, close up some Xianzhou story and stuff like that. Then we hit it into 3.0 after the Lunar New Year. That is a possibility as well. So both ways are going to be deciding like who we are going to call next. My opinion, more likely than not, they might have another filler in 2.8. I don't think they will put 3.0, a new planet, together with the festivity period because a lot of people will be busy with their families in China and places that celebrate Lunar New Year instead of having the resources like to actually play games and stuff like during that period. So 2.8 likely going to be here. And in that case, based on that logic, I think that Firefly likely will be placed in 2.8 to carry 2.8. But that's for another video. So based on that judgment and knowing that we can have rando characters that appear, my guess is probably a Runmei is probably going to appear here as a character maybe in the second half. It does feel a bit tricky to have both Sunday and Runmei together, but it does feel possible that you could do something like that. Or you could do like husbando, one male. Because you can see here, the patch of 2.6, one male, one husbando, one female, one husbando, and stuff like that. So maybe just for that sake, I'll just like keep it as one female, one male, just for the heck of it, right? So I'll lock in the predictions for 5 stars, but very quickly now, the 4-star cast, because the guys on Twitch when we were discussing were very, very insightful. I think there's a lot of interesting ways that we could go. So far, 2.6, what we have is a team composition that is synergetic with each other, and we believe that likely is going to move forward in 2.7 and beyond also. In that case, who are characters that haven't come about the longest time? So very simply, first layer of check, characters that haven't appeared in forever, right? These are the easiest to figure out. Shu Shang, you have Ting Yun, you have... why is my Danheng floating all over? He's Wind, maybe that's why he floats everywhere. So you have Danheng, Wind as well. These 3 characters haven't appeared in forever, and they are likely going to come back. Another character, Ting Chue, also is going to come back, probably because these are like the longest rerun characters based on like pure logic sense right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4 that we have. I will decide like which half in a little bit, but some of the other characters that I think can make an appearance would definitely be the likes of Gallagher, Gallbladder. I think Gallbladder could be very interesting to see in 2.7 because he does focus a bit on Break and he does play into the whole Break story as well. He hasn't came out in 5 patches, so he could make a rerun. So there are currently 5 characters, and the last one I think makes a lot of point, and one of our members also mentioned Hook could be an interesting angle, which I didn't personally think of previously. So I think it's a very, very interesting angle doing. Hook can play for Break, which is an interesting angle, especially if you're running it with Fugue. It could be an interesting angle of seeing things. So who is first half, who is second half? I think Ting Yun is going to be very cringe. I don't think Hoyoverse is going to put a Ting Yun to be really honest. No other character is like their alter and their 4-star and 5-star like the same banner. Even in Bibeter Lune didn't have like Danheng inside, and when Mark 7 Han came out, she wasn't on the banner. So I think Ting Yun in the first half, a double harmony, triple harmony at this point. So double harmony Runmei, Ting Yun, double harmony with like Sunday, Ting Yun, all could be very, very interesting to see. Probably Shu Shang at this point, I would say is like going to be on the right-hand side rather than the left-hand side. Both like characters that could be either on both sides, like Danheng, Susang, these can be on like both sides really. So we don't really have like a super preference. So I think since these two are like opposite ends, one Danheng on first half, Susang on second half, not too much thought placed into it. I think this is just one on each. It could work either way. At this point, probably Hook in the second half together with Fuyugui. That'll be an interesting way of looking at things. And Gallagher in the second half, Tingche, I think in the first half, together with like a double harmony, could be seen as a hyper carry Tingche kind of style. And that will be our predictions for 2.7, which is maybe the second last patch of Panacony before 2.8 and then 3.0. But anyways, guys, if you found this video helpful, do like and subscribe. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe and check out these two other videos, which I think you may be interested in as well if you found this one helpful. Anyways, check us out on Twitch. See you guys in the next video.